it's Terry Willingham. Happy New Year. This is the first video I've done since we started the new year and the new decade. So it's 2020, y'all. It's time to get things rolling. Today I wanted to give y'all something that would help y'all because, y'all, this is a new year. It's a fresh start. It's time to really get some stuff going, right? So you got to ditch the overwhelm and you got to ditch the procrastination. You got to get some stuff really rolling so that you can go higher and advance more in 2020. So I'm going to share with y'all 5 tips that will help you get rid of that junk that's weighing you down, that's keeping you spinning in chaos and just totally stopping you, okay? So let's talk about how we're going to slay the dragon, okay? The whole thing is about slaying the dragon today. That's what I'm going to talk about. Because if you sit around and you think, I know what I should be doing, but I'm just not doing it, this is for you. This is the thing that's going to help you. So let's jump into it. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to find your dragon. Like, you got to figure out what it is that's overwhelming you. You got to recognize that, and you got to change it. You got to decide, okay, this is what's setting me off. Like if you're in network marketing, is it making the calls? Like, do you think, oh, I feel like I'm bugging people? Or is it, actually sitting down and having the conversations with people? Like, maybe you're thinking, I'm just scared I'm going to say the wrong thing. So I don't know if I want to do it or not. Or maybe it's doing videos. Like, videos frees you up like nobody's business because you're afraid of what people are going to think. Like, what if they know I'm in one of those things? I don't know if I want them to know that. Okay, so like for me personally, it's my email list. Like, I have this email list, and those are my people. Like, those are the people that have signed up because they want to learn more from me, and yet I find myself getting completely frozen sometimes when I go to email them because I'm like, what if somebody unsubscribes? Well, then you don't email the list, and then that's not doing you any good, right? So in 2020, I've made a decision. I'm getting totally past that. I'm going to work with the people who want to work with me, and that's starting with getting past my dragon. So let's get you past yours. Okay, so the first thing you do is you find it. You recognize what it is. Second tip that you're going to do is you are going to tame the dragon. That's right. You're going to calm all that negative discussion that goes on in your head. It all comes from like fear and ego. You're going to just ditch all that, and you're going to figure out what the conversation that you get going on is specific to you, and that's what you're going to work with. Like, think about in your business. Think about success that you've had in the past. Like, how did that feel? Like, you had the conversation in the past. How did that go? What did the person say to you? Were they happy that you talked to them? Were they excited to get started with you because you had guts enough to talk to them? Because you made that phone call. You need to remember what that was like and go focus on that energy. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this business? I guarantee you it's because you have something that will help people, right? You have a way that you can help them, so you need to stay focused on that. And if you're thinking, well, I know I need to make this list. I got to make this list of all these people, and I got to start calling them. Okay, maybe making the list freezes you because you don't want to have to call them. What if you broke it up into easy, small segments every day? So that instead of calling 20 people today, and 20 people tomorrow, and 20 people the day after that, you call 2 or 3 people twice a week. You start out doing that. Like, suddenly that shifts in your mind, and you're like, I could do that. That's pretty easy. I could call a couple people today, and I could call people again on, say, Thursday. I could do that. And so now your brain is like, oh, yeah, I could do that. It totally shifts you into moving and taking action. So break it up into small little segments so that your focus is more positive and you can go forward doing it. Instead of worrying about having to do 100 people this week, focus on 2 or 3 today and 2 or 3 in another day or 2. Okay? All right. So you want to change that conversation in your head. Like, when you're stuck in the overwhelm and the chaos, you often think, well, I can't, or I'm really bad at this, or I suck at doing this, or they're not going to listen. Switch all that into, I can do this, or, I am able to show this, or I know I can show them how they can make $500 this month. I know I can sit down and show them a path. Switch your thinking into that and see how much farther it takes you. All right, so for number 3, I want to ask you, what does your desk look like right now? Like, for me, my desk in 2019 was very cluttered and very huge, and it was completely this overwhelm that was just all around me, and that's kind of how my mind was. Like, it stayed like that. So number 3 is that you want to keep the dragon at bay. You want to enable your routine and your environment to support you being productive, right? So let's talk about, there's 2 aspects to this. The first one is the routine. Like, decide when you're working and when you're not working. Like, you need to set some boundaries. Like, so many of us we fall victim to the kind of, sort of way of doing things. Kind of, sort of is when you're kind of, sort of on your phone, or you're kind of, sort of working your business, or you're kind of, sort of at your kid's ball game. You're kind of, sort of with your family at dinner. You're kind of, sort of working. Don't be a victim to the kind of, sort of mentality. What you want to do is you want to get focused, and when you're working, and when you're not, you're not. Like, this applies to everything, whether you're working or you're not working. So it's important to always be present. Be present in the now. And when you're with your business, when you're with your team, when you're talking to prospects, that's when you want to be focused on that. That's when you're working. When you're with your family, when you're with your friends, when you're with your kids and doing activities, that's when you're not. You want to be focused 100% on that. That's what I mean about setting the boundaries. So plan some downtime stuff, like stop feeling guilty because you need some time to do things that make you feel good and keep you energized and recharged. All successful people have those times. They have them because they need them. Like, they need that downtime. They need that time to stop being completely in overwhelm and not get just complete burnout. Okay? So give yourself some grace and do it. Let's talk about the environment. Let's talk about the environment. We talked about the routine. How you're gonna plan your personal stuff and plan your work, and you're gonna have it laid out better, instead of just all taking over. But in your environment, did you know 80% of what you do is dictated by your environment? That's a big number, y'all. 80% is a big number. So it's important to have it set up so that it helps you be the most productive and get the most focus out of your working time, right? So let me give you an example of this. All right, say you go to work and you've worked all day and you're just exhausted and you're tired, and you come home and you're absolutely starving, and you walk in, the kitchen looks great, and there's this beautiful, amazing looking cake right there on the counter for you. What you gonna eat? You're probably gonna dive into that cake because it looks so good and you're so tired and you don't want to cook. Oh, it's right there handy, right? But the same token, say you have the same kind of day where you're just so busy, you come home and you're tired, you're exhausted, and you're starving, and someone has left you a healthy meal right there prepared. Now you're going to eat the meal, right? See how the environment dictated where you went with it? It's because of what was right in front of you. So a great example of how that can work for you is start having yourself your own power hours. Like, you can do it with buddies. You can get on like a Zoom and have power hours, or you can do it yourself. Like, set certain hours, an hour a day here and there, that is going to be your power hour. And when you do that, you have a focused task. You have something in mind that you're going to do. You're going to shut the door, you sit in your office or wherever it is you work, and you do that right then. That is your time to be getting that task done. You don't take phone calls, you don't have conversations with your husband or your kids. That is your power hour, and you do it. That's how you commit to having certain time. Like, that's what I do with my email list. Like, when I need to sit down and I need to write something out on my email list, I have it. That's my time. Like, my phone rings, it goes to voicemail. I have to call them back because I got to have that time to do that. Many of y'all know I take care of my aging mother, and she's over at my house a lot. I have to have someone help me 5 days a week so that I have my designated time where I can get my work done. So I have a lady that comes from 8 to 12 or 1 o'clock 5 days a week. That's my work time. That's my time. And if I need extra, like if I have a big task and I've got to work for longer hours than that during the day, I'll go to town, because I live out in the country. I'll go to town and I'll work in there because the interruption is too much. It's too much and I don't get anything done. So I have designated place where I can get that done. All right, let's jump into number 4. This is where you get help with your dragon. You need to get some support, y'all. You've got to have some support. Like, I want you to think of someone who's successful. Maybe it's an upline. Maybe it's a crossline. Maybe it's just someone who's super successful in this industry. You want to model what they do. So if you know them, ask for tips. Ask them to give you some help. Ask them to give you some suggestions. Like, be open to the coaching that they give you and the tips that they share with you. The simple act of asking is going to take a huge weight off your shoulder, because now all of a sudden you've reached out for help and you start to realize you're not the only one in this boat that's rowing this way. Like, everybody goes through these issues. And so another thing you can do that will help you get support is collaborate with people. Like, if you have, like, if your company is a party company or you have meetings, don't try to do it all by yourself. If having one just terrifies you and so you're always putting it off, you're like, oh, I don't think I can do that, then get a buddy together and y'all do it together. Like, split the task, get energized on each other, and talk about how, get the creativity going, because you're sharing your ideas and the part that scares you with somebody else. Now you're together doing it. Maybe doing video scares you. Well, you could do the same thing. You get a buddy and y'all could do it together. Y'all could do videos together, and then all of a sudden it's not quite so scary. And when you're self-talking, maybe they're gonna do some talking, and the ideas feed off each other. Y'all could plan it out how you're gonna do it. There's a million different ways that you can do that would help you. You just need to find the support that you need in order to bust through so that you can go the next level in your business. All right, y'all, the last one, number 5, is that you always want to be ready to fight the next dragon. Like, you got to tend to those dragons, y'all, because here's what happens. You're going to keep restarting because you're going to be going good with this. Like, you've got this figured out. You're going, and boop, another thing's going to pop over here that's going to send you into either procrastination or overwhelm, or it's just going to, the chaos is going to start swirling. So what do? Well, you start all over. Now you've learned that the tools, you've learned what you need to do. You start working through it, and you need to be planning, because you're going to get better and better at this. You need to always be planning to be fighting, to be ready, to be going forward, to be moving past all this stuff that gets us swirling around, because now you have the tools and you can do it. Because y'all, I'm going to tell you straight up, when you're in procrastination or when you're in overwhelm, ain't nobody getting nothing done, because it is a game stopper right there. So, all right, I hope you use these 5 tips that I gave you to make 2020 your year. Go out there and just kill it, because y'all, this is the start of something great. Let's go forward and make it the best year ever. All right? I'll talk to you soon. Bye.